And then our closing keynote, and I have to be honest, the closing keynote was really disappointing to me because the closing keynote was a giant mess of word salad. This woman said nothing. I really mean that. I have very few notes for the closing keynote because this woman was basically like yeah, power and ableism and anti-blackness and collective and we need to work together and power and ableism. She said the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and it had no content at all. It was just word salad. But here's the description. Black queer feminist, cultural and memory worker, curator, and organizer Kara Page will close out the Collective Power 2023 by speaking to this political moment and grounding us in the healing justice lineage. She will set the tone for the future of centering BIPOC and trans liberation, ding, 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 and addressing how we can cultivate resistance, resiliency, and respond to generational trauma and build collective power for the future. And you know what's funny about that? Is here's Kara Page on Good Morning America with Patrisse Cullors. Who is Patrisse Cullors? Does anyone remember who Patrisse is? Does anyone remember? The closing keynote for the Collective Power Conference was on Good Morning America with Black Lives Matter co-founder and trained Marxist Patrisse Cullors. Remember how they all did that video about how they were trained Marxists? Yep, just saying. Matt M., thank you for the super chat. I sometimes wonder if the left has been infiltrated to make them look crazy. Then I meet leftists and realize they really are. No, they really are crazy. They really are. In real life. Not everyone on the left is crazy. But we're talking right now, what we focus on is the farthest of the far left. Okay? These are socialists. These are not moderate Democrats. These people hate moderate Democrats. They hate them. They talk about how much they hate them all the time. And so I really want people to understand these are not just your normal kind of like centrist, like, you know, suburban mom that has the job outside the house that, you know, takes the kids to soccer. That's not what this is. This is the farthest of the far left. These are the extremists. This is the minority. But sadly, these people control the talking points of the Democratic Party. Everything these people say, and this is why we actually started watching Socialism Saturday to begin with, everything these people say 2, 3, 4, 5 years later ends up in the key talking points of the Democratic Party. And so when you watch socialists and you come to Socialism Saturday on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, what you're going to hear is lunacy that in a couple years from now is going to show up on CNN. This is where defund the police came from. This is where the riots of 2020 were birthed from, except they were talking about it years before in the open on YouTube in interviews, and then a couple years later, it becomes the main talking points of the Democratic Party. That is why it's important to pay attention to this. Because it might seem like it's like, you know, it's entertaining. It is entertaining, don't get me wrong. But we're doing it for a reason. Because we're looking into the crystal ball and we're seeing the future and we're seeing where it's going. And I promise you, if people don't start stepping up and fighting back, everything you're hearing about this socialism conference is going to become mainstream, and it's going to happen within a couple of years. It's not even going to be that long of a time. A couple of years.